Welcome to Maritime Viewpoints on Marine World Online. I am Lynn Bacani, your host. Last week, we heard the perspective of the principal author of the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers, Congressman Ron Salo. This time, we will hear the viewpoint of maritime institutions. Joining us on the program is Mr. Sabino Zar Cloma Manglikmot II, Vice Chairman and President of the Philippine Association of Maritime Institutions, or PAMI. Welcome back to the program, Sir Sar.
Thank you, Ma'am Lynn, and good morning to you and good morning to all your listeners. And thank you for this opportunity for us to explain our position.
Yes, and the last time we interviewed you was November 2023, last year, no? When we talk about the EMSA issue. This time, another challenging, rather more challenging issue is confronting the maritime schools. This is the inclusion of the education and training provisions in the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers. Why is PAMI saying should this bill be passed into law, the Maritime Higher Educations or MHEIs will surely face a death blow?
Well, let us start from the very basis of our opposition. Actually, PAMI had the press con, I think 3 weeks ago already, and since then I have been invited so many interviews and platforms. In fact, I was also invited to go to Cebu and explain our position. And it seems that since our press con, there have been so many issues that have been raised. That's I would like to first allow me to explain our position on this. Our association asserts that the bill has been, or the legislator maybe has been misinformed about our core reason for our opposition. It is crucial to emphasize that our concern lies in the constitutional aspect, as we firmly believe that the bill goes against Article 6 of Section 26 uh, of the our Constitution, which explicitly dictates every bill passed by Congress shall embrace only one subject. So our opposition is one bill, one subject. Now, by the title itself, Seafarers Magna Carta for Seafarers, students are not yet seafarers. And I think that should be well understood. And having said that, education should not be part of the bill, because the bill is an enabling law of MLC 2006, meaning these are already practicing and professional seafarers. They are there, they're considered seafarers because that is already their profession. They earn from that profession, hence they are considered professional seafarers. Students are not yet seafarers because they're only there to accomplish their educational requirements. And I hope that's clear, that seafarers are not yet students are not yet seafarers. Another thing is that by the title itself, Magna Carta for Seafarers, education should not be part of it, because education is another topic all by itself. If you would read chapter 18, there are so many things that it it provides, like shipboard training, the curriculum committee, incentives, etc., etc., which are all related to education. And like what I said, education should not be there because we are already talking about a profession, the profession of seafaring. Now, answering your question, why are we saying that it will be a death blow or a death sentence to our maritime industry? The greater significance of our objection is primarily rooted in the provisions limiting the intake of enrollment and no fees related to the shipboard training. The issue here is that despite our substantial investments in resources like manpower, facilities, the simulators, and technology, our ability to accept enrollment is restricted. This puts our operational sustainability into risk. And the only viable option to sustain our operation is to increase tuition fees. And you know, Lynn, that the students of maritime are not they don't come from rich families. They come from um, the lower or echelon farm community. They are sons and daughters of farmers, construction workers, tricycle drivers. So if we would put this into perspective, because of our limited resources, we have no choice but to increase our fees. So the only viable option is to sustain our operation, is to increase tuition fees. If we do that, definitely there will be fewer enrollments, much fewer graduates, and ultimately a reduced supply in manpower entering the maritime workforce. We believe that this could have significant repercussions on our maritime industry and our country as a whole. So I think that's the cornerstone of our opposition, and I hope that's already clear. And with I hope with your help, it will be clarified to all.
Mhm, mhm. But don't you think, or don't you agree with Congressman Salo's assertion that all they're seeking to do is institutionalize CHED's existing standards or policies for MHEIs. Nandiyan na daw yan eh. Kumbaga, ginagawa lang lo para mas malakas, no? As he was saying, why focus on the required training ships, no? When you were given other options such as using simulators or other similar technologies or entering into agreements with ship owners or manning agencies. Let's be specific now, Sir Sar.
Like what I said, we have yes, these are already part of the JCMMCs or the policies of the school. But the essence of education lies in its inability to stay relevant to the industry it serves. Enforcing requirements through legislation can hinder its flexibility and responsiveness to the dynamic needs of an ever-changing industry like maritime. So we firmly believe that, there should be no room for education in the Magna Carta. Now, answering your question, um, for the it provides, or they want to institutionalize the requirements, uh, so it's more strong. Well, let's put it this way. Although these requirements are not new, it is crucial to highlight that CHED and Marina have already regulations to this, very thorough regulations. And these regulations, if not followed, are subject, or consequences are already outlined in their policies. The irony about this is that if EMSA, this these regulations were already submitted to EMSA as part of the Philippine response of 2022. And EMSA has accepted it already. So why fix something that's not broken? And that's also what we are wondering. But yes, it's already there. But do you need another layer of a law to implement it? Well, we're already being covered by a strict law, and Marina is on top of it already. We have members in PAMI that have been receiving show cause order if they do not follow. In fact, I think last year, I think there were already 10 schools that were already in that level of nearly being closed down. But you see, that's why do you have to put it in a law? If things would change, especially now, we're talking about the change in maritime in the industry of converting to digitalization, green shipping, and all of this. And now we're reviewing the STCW for 2027. So if this changes and we're locked into a law, then we have to amend our law. So why have something fixed, that fixed permanently, or fixed in a law that's hard to change, when every year there are always changes brought about by technology. So that's our point. That's another point. No? It will hinder the flexibility and the responsiveness of education. Now, having said that, if we are limited, then how can we address the present and future needs of the maritime industry? especially if you want to be number one or sustain number one.
So, Sir Zar, PAMI has 73 member schools, no? Does this number include state-owned maritime institutions, no? How many of these are state-owned? Kasi parang ang tingin ko, they should be role models, no? Na for as providing quality education or kumbaga meeting the standards kasi they are government-owned. Dapat very much supported sila ng government. Are they also one with you in opposing this chapter 18 of the bill?
Oh yes, actually they are the ones who are very vocal.
Mm-hmm.
They are the ones that they're very vocal because in state universities and colleges, they're very academic. No? Their background is really academic, and they're very vocal in saying that education should not be a law. Education should not be part of the Magna Carta for seafarers. They are the one who are very vocal about it, and they know their limitations. They know their limitations. Yes, the bill provides for simulators, but simulators are also expensive. It's not a joke. They're not cheap. They are also expensive. And if you want to meet carrying capacity, the more it becomes expensive. For them, it's really hard to cope up because to keep up with the standards because they are also limited in the request for their budget. In fact, many of our SUCs are already are already crying because it's really hard for them to keep up with the industry standard, especially for carrying capacity. So they're the ones who are very vocal about it. They fear that if this is put into law, they will be the first victims of this because it's hard. It's hard. I understand, no, very limited on funding nila, and it comes from the national government. So I really understand their sentiments on this, and that's why they've been very vocal on this issue.
Kaya nga sinasabi, no, itong mga private institutions, yun yung nagpupuno ng pagkukulang, no, sa
That's
government.
correct.
No? Kaya
That's correct.
naghihimutok din yung mga private institutions. Ito nga kami, may risky rin, ano? You have the investment, everything. Pero mukhang naiipit kayo ngayon. Kasi let's say Sir Zar, no? Let's focus on the chapter 18, no? Kasi medyo nako confused din ako, no? Kasi sabi ni Kong Salo last week dun sa interview, or so may options. Does this mean that the 12-month mandatory seagoing service can be replaced with the use of simulator or other similar technologies in schools or maybe in training centers? Ano ba? How do you comprehend that specific section? Siguro maganda basahin ko na rin, no? Yung specific section na yon kasi parang ang lumalabas, pwede na palang hindi mag-shipboard training.
Tama po 'yun.
Kasi sinabi mo
Yes.
or simulators or yung similar technologies. Kasi let me read this portion of the section. Requirements for Maritime Higher Education Institution or MHEIs. All MHEIs offering BSMT, BSMARE, and other maritime degree programs, as may be approved by Marina in consultation with CHED, shall be required to have their own training ships, simulators or other similar technologies, or shall directly enter into agreements with local or international shipping companies, ship owners, or manning agencies with respect to the shipboard training program of their students or cadets. Malinaw nung sinabi niya last week, or sabi niya, bakit niya raw nakatuon lang kayo sa owning of ship training ships? Pwede namang may simulators. Ano ba ang pagkakaintindi mo, sir?
Actually, let me explain first. Doon rin ako nagtataka, bakit lumabas sa press na nakatuon ang attention namin sa training ship. Well, in fact, and you were there in our in our press con, we were pounding on the issue that one topic, one subject. We were pounding on that issue. I do not know how they to speak up na natuon doon sa ship sa training ship. So ako rin, we're also, that's why I'm really thankful that you're giving us this opportunity to explain our opposition. Now, answering your question, pwede ba na ba yung simulator? It
12
seems like
months, ha? 12 months, ha?
uh,
Nag-simulator lang, ganun ba yon?
it seems like actually we have read over this several times, and it seems like it is saying that simulators is acceptable in replacement of the 12 months shipboard training. It seems like ako personally, I agree with you. I agree with you in that interpretation. But of course, that is my own personal point, my own personal view. But it seems like it is saying that simulators are acceptable as the shipboard 12 months shipboard training.
Mhm, mhm. So, kumbaga sa ano, sinasabi nga na mas maluwag yung options, no? Parang ganun ang dating.
Well, yes, but because there is also as approved by Marina.
Okay. So sa
So
IRR na siguro yon if this will be
maybe,
enacted
uh,
into law. Kasi
maybe.
still sa Section 82, klaro dito, shipboard training is a mandatory requirement and component of the BSMT-BS MARE and other maritime degree programs pa nga, other maritime degree programs as may be approved by CHED. That pertains to the seagoing service as provided under the STCW Convention. Parang meron pa kayong ano rin dito, no? Paliwanag din ang PAMI dito regarding dito sa is this talaga sa for degree or for certification itong seagoing service. Kindly explain further, Sir Sar.
Yes. Actually, thank you for that question. Magandang tanong po yan, Ma'am Lynn. Actually, we have to have a common ground on understanding this requirement. And it is our belief that certification is um certification is for a requirement for OIC. When I say OIC, certificate for operational level. But STCW does not mention, or it is silent, that it is a requirement for education. Now, if you would carefully read the STCW, in all provisions of the STCW, it is silent about the education aspect, because the STCW it's in its forward, and it's in its rationale, they're saying that these are for requirements, and the code is for professional seafarers, no? Professional mariners. And that's why it's silent in terms of education. So certification, as we see it, is a requirement for OIC, and it can be also interpreted not as a requirement for education. And I hope that's also clear to everyone, that it is a the shipboard training, or OBT, is a requirement for certification, for licensure. Kasi yung iba hindi naintindihan ng certification, no? I just recently found out hindi nila naintindihan ang certification. Mas naintindihan nila
License.
licensure.
Yeah.
O sa context natin, licensure.
Mm-mm.
So, ang requirement ng ang shipboard training, kung susundan mo talaga ang STCW, shipboard training is a requirement for licensure. It is not a requirement for education, because STCW itself is silent on the requirements of education.
But sir, sorry ha. Bakit ngayon lang kayo nagiging maingay tungkol dito na parang ang dating kailangan wala ng shipboard training pag-graduate na natin ang mga cadets, no? Ganitong medyo talagang mas nahihirapan kayo ngayon because of inclusion nitong provision na to sa Magna Carta. sa history ba ng maritime education natin sa country, yung ganitong may seagoing service, kailan ba pinatupad yan? Sorry ha, anong year? I understand
Nako.
you're a third generation of your clan, no, sa pagiging maritime educators. Actually, great maritime educators, no, kasi yung grandfather ba, no, si
Yes, yes.
ano ay siya yung nag-umpisa ng maritime education sa Pilipinas,
Mm.
si Mr.
Thomas Cloma.
Thomas Cloma, Admiral actually,
Yes,
Admiral.
yes.
And the father of maritime education pa nga, no, sinasabi.
Opo.
And actually, internationally, he is known to discover the Kalayaan group of islands he called Freedom Land. No? So,
Mm.
history po yan. So, medyo ano lang tayo ng konti. Pero balikan kita doon. Bakit ngayon lang? Matagal na nating natang sistema ito sa maritime education. Pero yung mga kauna-unahan yata, hindi naman ganito, no? Ano lang, klaro lang, sir.
Opo. Actually, yes, I do not know when did this start kasi I only entered the maritime educational maritime industry in somewhere around 2016 or 2015. But I have been very vocal since 2018 about this, no, about this issue that certification is for licensure and it's not for requirement for education. I have attended several workshops sponsored by Marina, and the facilitators there came from the IMO. And I have also made this position of mine, and they agree that it is not a requirement for education, but a requirement for licensure. And in fact, somewhere around 2022, we had the opportunity to, yeah, somewhere in 2022, we had the opportunity to open this up in some maritime forums. And they have seen this issue as our position as as enlightening. In fact, in last year's Maritime Expo, I was given the opportunity again to present this framework of removing the shipboard training inside the realm of inside the realm of education. And many agree with this framework. Many have agreed and they support this framework. In fact, there was a former marina administrator who was present in the audience. And after my piece, he came to me and said, "Yes, that is what you have presented, sir, is a possible solution to our present problem right now." And I agree with you on this framework. It's just unfortunately that during that time there will be there was already a change in the marina administrator. And recently, again, recently we have presented this again to one of the workshops. Again, it has gained support. In fact, if I may mention, no, um, we went to CHED and I went to CHED and gave this suggestion on uh, on this framework. And CHED is very, very supportive. Ang sinabi lang ng CHED sa amin, the only thing that CHED said was to consult stakeholders, the maritime stakeholders, to include parents, students, and users, and consult them if this is an acceptable framework. And of course, do your own research, sabi ng CHED, do your own research, following proper educational practices and principles in curriculum design. So PAMI instituted or commissioned a committee to do the data gathering and research on this. In fact, there are two research studies that PAMI has been is conducting. One is led by our members in the Visayas, and one is led by our members here in Luzon. So there are two curriculum researches that PAMI is undertaking right now. So matagal-tagal na rin po ito. Inabutan lang po kasi tanan ng pandemic. But we have not we should also understand, and we should also accept that research will inform us. Research will inform us if this is the proper framework for our country. And That is where we, and PAMI and myself submit to that. That research will inform us. That's why we're taking our time, to do the research, because only research can tell us if this is the right framework for our country.
Mhm. And to my recall, mas na-strengthen yung call na yan during the pandemic, no? Kasi marami nang hindi nakapag-shipboard training noon. So nabalik yung issue na yan at mas na emphasize, no? Na yun nga i-remove na yung SBT. And actually even yung mga veteran na seafarers, no? Captains, mga chief engineers na minsan nakakausap ko, they agree, no? With that. Kasi although ang inabutan nila nung kasi noon, no? Kumbaga merong degree program tsaka merong pang tinatawag na yung ano bang tawag?
Associate.
Associate, no?
Yes.
So yun lang dati eh. So parang ang dating yata ngayon parang pag inano yung reform doon yata ang direksyon. I believe so kasi if you will really go through the bill then, no? Meron dong may provision doon or sa section wherein yung curriculum committee, no? Meron pang gano'n. Non-degree courses for seafarers. Section 91. TESDA, Marina, TESDA shall in consultation with CHED develop and establish non-degree courses on maritime education and training consistent with its mandate under RA number 7796. Non-degree holder seafarers shall be allowed to undergo shipboard training for purposes of employment in the domestic maritime industry in vessels below the minimum gross tonnage and required horsepower as provided under the guidelines of Marina in compliance with international standards. Pero sa observation ko, etong medyo parang malabo din to, no? Kasi ang kinukuha ngayon, especially itong mga cadets natin, no? And parents, no? Pinagmamarino nila, pinag-aaral nila ng maritime yung mga kadete, yung mga anak nila or anak, parang maging opisyal ng barko actually. Kaya lang, ang kinalalabasan ng karamihan, nagiging ratings, no? Kasi itong mga international shipping companies, they prefer nga yung mga degree holders. Kaya lang, pagdating dun sa mga companies naman nila, hindi nila binibigyan ng ganong kalaking oportunidad, no? Ang pinipili lang talaga nila yung sa mga popular schools or sponsored cadets nila. Kasi sigurado sila dun sa quality kasi sinubaybayan nila yung mula ng una, in fairness naman dun sa kanila, no? Kasi syempre nag-invest sila eh. Your take on that, Sir Sar?
Let me, ang dami nung Ma'am Lee, no? Ang daming salimuot na issue to, no? But let me begin by saying, no, this is an example. Itong Maritime Curriculum or Curriculum Committee that includes CHED and TESDA. This is an example na dapat hindi kasama ito sa Magna Carta. Because again, Magna Carta is speaking about seafarers. But these are not yet seafarers. We're already talking about developing students, no? Still from the first year. Kaya nga, itong magandang halimbawa na hindi dapat kasama ang edukasyon sa Magna Carta for seafarers. This is a concrete example why it should not be. Dahil, ayun na, may Maritime Curriculum Committee na. Now, answering your question about yung program natin. Unfortunately, paano ko sasabihin to na wala akong masasagasaan?
Sige lang, no, expired.
Unfortunately, pag ang bata gustong pumasok ng seafaring, they can only enter 2 programs, BSMT, BSMARE. Kahit ang ambisyon niya ay rating lang, he needs to enter BSMT or BSMARE. Kaya nga ang daming estudyante niyan. Pero if when you ask them, will you continue to become a officer? No? 30% will say, yes, I will continue. Yes, 30% will yes, I will continue. Maybe another 20% is undecided. No? But majority, seafaring lang ang gusto. Seaman rating lang ang gusto.
Kasi yung iba gusto kaagad makapagtrabaho eh, no? Importante
Yes.
sa kanila makatulong kaagad sa magulang eh.
Yes, I was going to that. Bakit no? Bakit bakit natin sinasabi na 50% or majority ay gusto lang ng rating? Kasi ang nasa isip kaagad nila, makabayad utang. No? As I said earlier in my opening statement, ang estudyante ng mga maritime galing sa mga mahihirap na pamilya yan. Ang mga pag-aaral niyan at training niyan, karamihan inuutang yan, no? Nagsasangla ng kalabaw, nagsasangla ng gamit, pati yung ani nila, isasangla nila yung ani nila para may pagpatuloy yung pag-aaral. So ang unang naiisip kagad nila, the first thing that comes into their mind is to pay utang. So immediately, whatever it will take, that is their first priority, to pay their debt. Yung career nila, second na lang. But and again, unfortunately, dahil kumikita na sila, no, maganda na, nakakapag-ipon na, nakapagbayad na sila ng utang, no, nakapagpagawa na ng bahay, bumili na sila ng sasakyan, nakakalimutan si karir. Nakakalimutan na maging officer. And that is the one of the challenges that this framework, the present maritime framework brings, no? It brings to front that the interest of the students sometimes, and most of them, are covered, are hindered, or influenced by their immediate need, and which is pay the utang and survival. Kaya nga, kung, in, if I may add, no, if I may add na CHED right now is exploring the ladderized program for maritime education
Di ba
under.
dati na rin yan, na tinry na yung ladder rise na yan?
Kaya nga po, that's why they're exploring kasi meron na pong batas, RA 10968.
Mhm.
Meron na po siyang batas, the act institutionalizing the Philippine qualification framework. Meron silang binuo na parang task force or committee doon to explore the possibility of a ladderized program. I'm not sure the status of this committee or nasan sila ngayon, but I was informed that because of RA 10968, there is already exploratory undertakings relative to this. So, yeah, isang tanong nyo ulit, kasi ang industry natin gusto BS. Alam nyo, Ma'am Lynn, that's a cultural mindset, and it dates back way before, even before our time. Kasi ang pag-iisip po natin, dapat college graduate ka para umunlad ka dito sa bansa natin. Para umunlad ang buhay mo, kailangan graduate ka. Kaya nga yung senior high school program na sinasabi lang trabaho, edukasyon, or hanap buhay, no? Senior high school was built around these cornerstones. But because our industry, and not only maritime, lalating ko na, because our industry or our workforce is in that mindset na dapat college degree ka, even the meager positions in a organization, yung mga pinaka-basic position in any organization, kahit yung front desk, cashier, no? Lahat gusto nila college graduate. Hindi lang ito sa maritime, lahat gusto college graduate. Kasi in our mindset, yun ang magtataguy sa magandang buhay natin. Dapat college graduate ka. So lahat ng mga parents, no, lahat ng mga parents, yun ang gusto. Ang masaklap, and you know this, there are even more opportunities doon sa skilled, no? There are more opportunities doon sa skilled work. Mas marami pang opportunities doon. But because of our cultural mindset na gusto na natin college degree, ayun, lahat pumipilit na kinakailangan makatapos ka ng college, para gumanda, lahat pumipilit pumasok doon sa channel na yon. So, I cannot really blame the industry, especially maritime industry, na they prefer the college graduate o kahit rating position yan. I cannot blame them because, of course, when you are a college graduate, it is expected that you already have all the facilities needed. You already have all the skills needed. You already have all the exposures needed. Kaya kakunti na lang ang gagawin adjustment for principal requirements. So I do not blame them, but well, yeah, it's a cultural thing, ano, Lynn, it's a cultural mindset. And I hope we can also realize this, no, as a nation, that there are even more opportunities pag skill. When you go to other countries nga, if you apply for immigrant status for other countries, ang karamihan doon, skill, checkbox doon, puro skill. Because they're skill based, yung talaga ang the backbone of any economy is the skill base.
Because nga, yun ang na-offer natin. Yun ang naging system ng maritime education natin. If magkaroon na nga talaga ng clear na, na degree programs, ito ang requirements, ito yung para dito, at ito naman yung sa non-degree courses for seafarers, di ba? So kasi sinasabi nyo, ayan nga, lahat naman nga daw ng courses like lawyer or mga ganyan, yung mga law or yung mga mabibigat na course, meron din talaga dyan ng mga galing din sa mahihirap, nagtiyaga lang, di ba? So sinasabi nga, hindi rin naman daw lahat ng mga nagkumukuha ng maritime courses ay galing po sa mahirap. Meron din daw dyan, nakakaangat na rin sa buhay. So given na pwede talagang mangyari, matataas daw yung tuition fees kasi nga you want a degree for iba ang maritime. Anong masasabi niyo doon, Sir Zar?
While I agree that some of the students are already well off, at may kakayahan rin, but majority are still coming from that sector. And I do not know if you're aware of it, but I would like to share that, yung maritime program, ang taas ng attrition rate, no? Ang taas ng attrition rate. I think 25% every year nababawasan ang mga maritime students. And majority of the reasons why they stop why they stop studying, majority of the reason financial. So from there you will already see na talagang mahirap talaga. It's becoming expensive, no? The maritime education is becoming expensive because of these requirements such as carrying capacity, shipboard training. It's becoming expensive. And we're trying to, like my school, maliit lang naman school ko, and many of the majority of the schools in PAMI, they have a small market. They have a small market, and they depend on enrollment. So to cover up with the expenses, to cope up with carrying capacity, we need to increase the enrollment. Yes, some of them ay may kaya na, no? May kakanyahan na. But they are not the majority. But if we take them, let's say for example, we will take this small group of those who are able and capable or financially capable. This small group is not enough to sustain the requirements set forth by this provision and even set forth by government agencies.
What if for the degree programs, clear talaga natin na ito yung requirement and then ito yung mga capable na kumuha ng degree programs because financially or kumbaga even yung sa schools they can meet the requirement, they can provide the training ship o kaya ay may mga agreements sila with the ship owners or manning agencies. Kasi kung babaguhin natin 'yon kasi eto lang Sir Sar, no? Observation ko lang kasi baka mamaya naman bumaba naman yung standard natin compare doon sa ibang lahi or mga kadete ng ibang bansa na combination of academic and onboard training talaga. So siguro baka pwede naman yung kagaya ng nandito sa proposed bill for the degree programs, no? Kilaro ko nga yan kay Kong Salo nung nakaraan. We're talking of degree programs ba to, di ba Kong? Tong inyong requirement na to. Kaya mabigat.
Again, complex yung problem na yan. Complex yung problem din. Okay, let's talk about quality muna. Let's talk about quality. And I believe this is the point where all stakeholders should come together and tell us what is quality. Because in other programs, especially those na may PRC, no, you may who need to take a board, ang batayan ng kwalidad ng estudyante is your passing rate sa PRC. Okay? For maritime, wala naman tayong PRC, pero meron tayong examination given by Marina. If we will use the same meter stick na ang basihan natin yung pumapasa sa Marina, di very good kami because 95% of our students pass the Marina examination. So we are providing quality ayon sa Marina standard, ayon sa binibigay na exam ng Marina. So kami ay we are providing quality seafarers if we will use that as a meter stick. And Marina should safeguard the international standards ayon sa RA 10635. So it should ensure that their examination is acceptable domestically and acceptable internationally. But because our students, 95% of our students pass the examinations, then we are providing quality cadets or quality students. Now, sinasabi nila na it's not enough. Hindi pwedeng basihan lang ang Marina. It's not enough to say that it is quality students. Then, yun nga sinasabi ko, let us come together and let's discuss what is quality cadets, what is quality students. Kasi I cannot find it anywhere. What does quality mean? Kasi as I said, sa ibang programa, ang basihan, PRC. So, din ko sabi ko, let us come together, end users, stakeholders, and let us decide once and for all what is the components of a quality cadet. Then maybe from there, education can start developing programs that are aligned to that perception of quality.
You mentioned about end users, no, sa ating mga mining agencies naman and the ship owner side. Yung quality na sinasabi rin nila is yung tungkol dun sa screening, no? Many of these agencies are conducting exams, no, for the cadets, and frankly speaking, medyo disappointed kasi iilan lang daw yung pumapasa.
I know that. Actually, I was even surprised. Kaya nga sinasabi ko nga kanina, marami nagsasabi na hindi lang dapat results ng Marina ang basihan. Okay? Now, I agree with that. Not only Marina, that's why we have to come together as a industry. Ano ba talaga ang quality na ine-expect nyo? Now, answering that, and with due respect to everyone, ayokong may masagasaan dito sa sasabihin ko. Recently, I found out that about these different examinations provided by different crewing and manning offices. No? They give examinations. Parang pinaka-entrance examination para doon sa company nila. I found out that marami rin nagtatanong, nag-question doon, yan ba aligned doon sa pinag-aral ng bata? Kasi where did they get those questions? Where did they get it? From CHED, from Marina, or US Coast Guard, or Japanese Coast Guard, or where did they get those questions? Who validated those questions? Kasi we were approached by one of the companies, actually by a big and influential company. And they were surprised na sinabi nga namin na, wait, what questions will you be asking? Because since 2010, we have already transformed our curriculum to OBE. In other words, it's more on demonstration. It's no longer about multiple choice. It's already about demonstration. So, doon pa lang makikita nila entrance examination, multiple choice. Pero ang mga bata nasanay sa demonstration. So, makikita mo na yung disaligned. And I found this out just recently na maraming mga members namin nagtatanong, Sir, pakitanong, saan ba galing mga question nila? Ay, yung mga questions ba nila, inalign ba sa curriculum natin? Kasi sabi, in fact, there was one member, very bold. Sir, I came from one of the money crewing. And I can tell you, no, hindi naman na-validate mga questions na yan. Eh. Hindi naman yan binangga doon sa curriculum natin. So, talagang mahihirapan mga bata. So, again, that is why we should really come together as an industry. And let us, set the expectation. Tell education, what is quality cadets for you? Kasi kahit katuloy, disappointing ang results. Talaga naman disappointing results kasi it's not aligned. The questions are not aligned with the curriculum. Plain and simple. Kaya nga, makikita mo talaga mababa ang mababa ang resulta. Kasi 'di ba tayo nag-aaral, 'di ba? Magbibigay ng quiz si teacher. After the quiz, sasabihin natin, hindi naman tinuro ni sir yan eh. Hindi, hindi naman tinuro ni ma'am yan eh. Paano natin masasagot yan? I know you experienced this also when you were studying. Kasi ako rin ganun eh. Hindi naman tinuro ni ma'am yan. Hindi naman tinuro ni sir yan. Babagsak talaga tayo dyan.
And of course, it is also given that every company has its own standard din, di ba?
Yes, principal requirement. That's also something I just found out, Lynn. Pasensya na lang kasi as I said, medyo ano pa ako dito. Medyo baguhan lang ako and because of the pandemic, na-delay ang marination ko. But that's what I also find out. Meron palang quote-unquote principal requirements. Iba yung requirement ng taga-Europe, iba requirement ng Japan, iba meron palang mga ganon. So, sabi ko nga, malilito talaga ang maritime education. Who do we address? European standards or European requirements, Japanese requirements? Who do we address? Kaya nga importante, let's come together.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. At palagi kung yan ang sinasabi ko sa mga fora, sa speeches ko, let's come together. Tell education what you need. And we will design something that is aligned to what you need.
Okay, and this is not for all of you to na magsagutan kayo and everything, but to clarify your
Yes.
views, no? Kaya namin kayo interview dito. And I understand PAMI was awarded to develop the complete course packages for the second and third year.
Yes.
You have mentioned last year na 6 months ang binigay sa inyo, no, para to finish this. What's the current status of the curriculum? Alam ko medyo sumasakit ang ulo ng mga maritime school sa curriculum na yan.
Tapos na po. We are done. We have submitted our report even before the deadline. And as far as I can remember, based on the feedbacks, ang first and second year tapos na po sa review and partially of the third year. Meron lang konting adjustment sa third year, but I think 80% is already done. It's just a minor adjustments na lang. But we already have submitted our work to CHED and Marina. And I'm happy to note that PAMI also participated and actively participated dun sa mga workshops na ginawa introducing this curriculum. And please, let me make this clear. This is not a new curriculum. It is not a new curriculum. It is an improvement of the previous curriculum. It's not a new one. It's just an improvement.
Improvement or revised? Can we say?
Hindi po revised. Just improvements on certain learning objectives and course objectives.
We're there no sa STCW workshop no last week as Captain Pradeep Shaula, the Global Meta chairman said no alternative fuels, autonomous vessels, harassment, bullying, and so forth. These are some of the topics na sa revision ng STCW. So, will you incorporate this in our curriculum in the future?
In terms of bullying, mental awareness, and the others, these are already incorporated. Doon pa lang sa DepEd level, doon sa senior high school, is already incorporated. May emphasis lang siya sa senior high school. And I mean sa college because, of course, maritime career, the challenge of a maritime career is isolation. It's not really about fire on board, or it's about injury on board, because they were trained for that. But the real challenge for any seafarer is the isolation on board. So these topics have been embedded already. Now, alternative fuel. Um, as of now, wala pang specific um, fuel or standard when it comes to fuel that we should follow. Kasi katulad doon, sinabi nga nung guest speaker natin na different countries are experimenting on different alternative fuels, but STCW has not come up with a standard yet. But it doesn't stop us from introducing alternative fuel as a lesson, but not not as a competence. So in the new curriculum, it has already been introduced of the alternative fuel as part of a learning outcomes, but not as a competence.
But why PAMI compose this curriculum or our courses packages? Why not our government agencies concerned like CHED and Marina?
Actually, matagal na namin hinihingi po yan eh. Matagal na namin hinihingi yun kasi I know you've been part of that issue, no? That binababa na lang ng CHED or binababa na lang ng Marina yung requirements. Kami naman ang aangal, kami naman ang nagagalit that that is not applicable, that's impossible to implement. So we have been clamoring that to include us, to include PAMI in developing the curriculum because kami yung magi-implement. Kami yung grassroots. Kami ang first contact ng education to the students. It's not the developers. It's not the technical panel. It's not the technical group. It's not even the TPME. It is the faculty is the first contact to the students. Kami ang nagde-develop ng foundation. So we were always asking them na include us in the development of this curriculum. And buti nang nakinig, no? Nakinig po sila sa amin, and then sige, what they said, we'll give it to you, you develop it. Kami namang magba-validate, which is a better option. Ched and Marina will be the one to validate our outputs. At least there are there are more eyes looking into the curriculum rather just a couple of eyes. So with this setup, maganda yung naging setup. At least yung outputs namin nababalidate ng mga nagre-review sa Ched and Marina. So for me, it's a better setup compared to before na sila lang po lahat. And we have to admit, no? We have to admit, alam mo rin naman mga kasama po natin diyan sa mga TC, TW and TPME, they have their own day jobs. So, they have their own day jobs. Hindi ito, and to invite them to review, to develop, it will take time. It will take much of their time. But with this setup, at least sila, no, they have time for their day job. We have time for our day jobs, and then when all is ready, they will not be sacrificing their day job. No? Kami rin, we're not sacrificing our day job. And as I said, I think there's a better balance right now coming from the develop and the validators. So yeah, matagal ka na kasi namin hihingi po yun na include us in the development, and pinagbigyan naman po tayo, di very good for all.
Mm-mm. It's also an acceptance na hindi nila kaya lahat, ano. They should out to the stakeholders like
I was trying to avoid that, but
ako na nagsasabi kasi ako nakaka-observe yan sa
Oo.
tagal natin nagko-cover tayo dito sa industry, no. At pagkatapos itong pagpasok nitong education and training provisions sa Magna Carta, no, medyo malaki rin yung responsibility na binibigay sa Marina pagdating sa training ship, no? Sa training ship kasi meron ditong provision yung tungkol dun sa domestic ships, no, na they should monitor everything, mga ganyan requirements for Philippine registered ships on shipboard training. Maalala ko it was mentioned by Congressman Salo na a big or the largest, actually the largest ship owners organization sa domestic, they already agreed, no, dun sa provision nitong Magna Carta na they will accept cadets. Your take on that, Sir Sar?
Well, while it's good that they will accept cadets. In fact, I heard it's for free. Kaya ako, I am supportive to that. However, let us set the requirements clear. Are there ships qualified for shipboard training as provided by CHED Marina and the Marina Advisory following STCW, which is there are certain requirements by STCW
Yata yun.
that
300.
qualify for shipboard training. And this requirements is echoed by Marina through a Marina Advisory. One of them is the GRT, one of them is the kilowatts of the engine, one of them is the length at yung mga seagoing vessels. Uh, If they are qualified, well and good. Mas maganda po yun. But what I heard, um, they themselves admit that most of their ships, and even the domestic, most of them admit that they do not qualify for that requirement.
So have you personally met them, sir?
I went to Cebu last week, just last Friday,
Mhm.
and I did not, well, I did not have the chance to talk, but I didn't. There was really no need to talk and to tell them our position, because they themselves admit that many of their ships do not qualify for that international standard that is CHED, that Marina is giving. Kaya nga sabi nga nila that the international standard is not applicable to the domestic standard. Kaya hiwalay nyo ang requirement. No? Kasi ano nangyari, Marina is adapting through Marina, the shipboard training has adopted the international standard for certification. At yun, binababa sa domestic. No? Eh yun ang sasabi nga na, ihiwalay nyo. They admit it also. It cannot be. The international standard is not applicable to the domestic setting. One of them is, the GRT, the power, the kilowatt power, the seagoing classification. So they are admitted rin sila na while they can accept, but are their ships qualified for that requirement? And they admit it's not. That's why they want to have a separation of domestic and international requirements. In fact, one of their one of their senior members doon made a suggestion on the floor. Sabi nga niya, bakit ma'am hindi na lang ipag-graduate nyo na lang yung mga estudyante, no? Para at yung shipboard training kanya-kanya na lang. That will serve the problem of the domestic manpower requirements. Kasi
Actually,
sila
sa
rin,
ibang countries, ganyan no? Ganyan
oo,
system nila.
that's correct. That's correct. Sila rin, no, ang domestic shipping, may problema rin sa manpower requirements, no? Marami sa kanila na marami sa kanila, no, mas gusto mag-international. Mas gusto mag-international. Kaya nagkukulang rin sila sa domestic. Kailangan rin nila ng mga opisyal to man their ships. So nagkukulang rin sila. So sila rin, tumitingin rin sa education. They're looking at education. Oh, education provides the manpower for the domestic requirements. But of course, dahil sumusunod tayo doon sa STCW requirement, tayo rin, we are handcuffed. We cannot do anything but follow. Kaya hinihingi nga nila doon sa Cebu, na baka pwedeng ihiwalay nyo. Hiwalay nyo yung international requirements at domestic requirements.
But there is still, they will accept, no, the cadets. Wag lang yung sobrang,
Basta qualified yung ship
yes,
nila.
yes.
Qualified yung ship nila kasi we had instances, and I would like to share this. I will take this opportunity to use your platform,
Mm-mm.
no, for the students, to be careful what vessel to board. Make sure that they are qualified doon sa shipboard training requirements, no? The GRT, the power of the engine, yung seagoing, the length of the engine, dapat qualified siya doon sa shipboard training requirements. Kasi kung hindi qualified, baliwala lang yung baliwala lang yung oras nyo doon. So, yes, please make sure if they are qualified, well and good. That's a welcoming gesture na they will be able to accommodate the cadets. But if they are not, which is their problem, well, teka muna.
That's about the the existing na mga ships. For training ships mas matindi siguro yung requirement,
Yes.
lalo pa kung ang maritime schools ang mag-acquire, magma-manage, mag-ooperate ng training ships, no? Did you have a formal study or research about that, sir? Acquiring, managing, and maintaining training ship. Kasi some of your members, actually ilan lang talaga yan, mabibilang lang talaga na meron ng training ship. But I believe sobrang problemado pa rin.
Yes. But their problem, of course, acquiring is already expensive. You're looking at 150 to 200 million pesos to acquire a training ship. And you have to retrofit this, you have to fix this, i-retrofit mo pa yung ship na to for accommodations. So you're looking for another 50 million. Hindi pa siya lumalaot. And then of course there's operational expenses, no? I know for a fact that something of 10 million a month ang operational expenses. And if it goes see if it would sail, or it will yeah, it will travel, eh dagdagan niyo yung 10 million. I heard something like 15 to 19 million uh, just to let it para lumakad lang, no? So but that's one of the problems. But there's another problem here, which I think some are not aware. Sa marina, walang training center classification. Meron sila cargo ship, meron sila passenger ship, pero recently I heard wala silang classification for training ship. At matagal nang hinihingi ng mga schools, no, mga MHEIs, na magkaroon ng classification for training ship. So hanggang ngayon wala pa. So I don't know how Marina will look at this or will consider this, but as we speak right now, at ito'y napatunayan na rin just recently, na walang classification ng training ship sa Pilipinas. So paano magkakaroon ng training ship? Paano mag-a-acquire ng training ship ang mga schools kung walang classification ng training ship sa Pilipinas? So which comes first?
And can the government acquire and operate training ships for each of the state-owned, no,
Ano ko?
colleges and universities? Yun
Let
muna eh.
us
Kasi state-owned yan eh. Dapat unahin nila yan na makapag-comply.
correct. You're correct in them. But let history tell us let history give us a lesson. Eto sinabi ko rin sa press con, no, tinanong ako diyan. Let history give us a lesson. Let us learn from history. Previously, there were I think four training ships andiyan dyan sa Rojas Boulevard
Mhm.
na palutang-lutang lang diyan. No, I think there were four. Now, there's only one. All the rest binenta na nila. Bakit? Eh, hindi kaya. They cannot sustain a training ship. Plus, yung mga training ships nila, hindi qualified doon sa international standard set forth by the shipboard training requirements. So, what's the use of maintaining a ship that doesn't meet those requirements? So, binenta. Wag na tayo lumayo. Dati meron tayong MB Pilipinas, yung sa NMP. O binenta, binenta. Dahil hindi nga kaya ng gobyerno to sustain it. So, yeah, that's a problem that should also be considered. That's an issue that also should be considered. And I think government agency should seriously look at it.
Mhm. So now, Sir Sar, the bill is now for signature of the Speaker of the House, Senate President, and of course the President. No, what is your appeal to the President, or perhaps even your message to the Speaker of the House and the Senate President?
Well, for everyone, for lahat ng mga legislators, from the House of Representatives to the Senate and even to our President, ang talagang opposition po namin dito is that one bill, one subject. And education should not be part of this bill, because in our discussion this morning, nakita nyo naman, masalimuot ang problema ng education. That which brings me to the question, what is this bill trying to solve? Is this bill trying to solve ambulance chasing? Is this bill trying to solve uh, MLC 2006? Is this bill trying to solve education? What is this bill trying to solve? Because if you would follow our constitution, one bill, one subject. And education is another subject for seafaring. Kaya hindi dapat siya kasama. Now, what is this effect? At sinabi ko noon, what will be the effect? Basically, yes, while these provisions or these requirements are not new, it entails that the schools will have heavily invest in and significantly invest in manpower, resources, technology, and etc. And the flow here is that our enrollment is restricted, and then there should be no fee related to shipboard training. So we have no other options but to raise our tuition fees. Raising our tuition fees, we will be sacrificing the number of enrollees. As I said earlier, most of our students are sons and daughters of farmers, from construction workers, tricycle drivers, and I do not believe they can afford high tuition fee. This will relate now to a few enrollment, fewer graduates, and fewer manpower in the maritime industry. This will definitely affect not only our number one standing or preferred number one standing as the preferred source of seafarers, but also it will definitely diminish our dollar remittances to our economy. So it's really a domino effect if this bill is put into law. And this domino effect will have repercussions in the future that may not be repairable. And yun ang kinatatakutan po namin talaga.
Whether the president signs the bill or vetoes it, what will PAMI do next?
That's a good question. Honestly, we have not thought of any alternative actions right now. All our effort is all focused on having our message be sent to the ears of the president, be sent to the ears of the House of Representatives and the Senate President. All our effort is there, that hopefully that they lend us their ears and listen to our cry, that this bill, when put into law, will be giving more problems than solutions. Yes, that's why I've asked, what is this bill trying to solve? Because normally that's why there's a law, there's a situation that you would like to solve, or anticipate it to be a better. But because it has multiple subject matters, it might not be able to solve the problem that it was originally designed for.
Thank you very much, Sir Sar.
Thank you, Ma'am Lynn, and thank you very much for your time, for this opportunity given to PAMI, so we can clearly explain what is our opposition on this matter. Like what I said at the start of the program, since our press con, the focus of our opposition has transferred, has geared to shipboard training, has geared to the training ship, but I just want to return. I would just like to return and focus on our position that education should not be part of the Magna Carta for seafarers. We believe that it is detrimental to the industry, and we also believe that there should only be one bill, one subject.
Mr. Sabino Azar Cloma Manglikmuat II, Vice Chairman and President of the Philippine Association of Maritime Institutions. Thank you for watching Maritime Viewpoints on Marine World Online. I am Lynn Bacani, your working publisher. Stay on board. Subscribe to Marine World Online for more meaningful maritime news and views. God bless Maritime Philippines.